It's weak.
I already know, but that's what I be trying to tell people. Like when I be talking about female shit and female nature and all that, I be really just I really be trying to help them out to be like, hey, we know y'all can't control it. Like it's no shade,
Right. Yeah,
but
yeah, exactly. Like,
because of that shit, be cool with what happens
right.
next. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
you gotta,
exactly. What's gonna follow?
yeah, like you just gotta
Hmm.
understand and be aware of what goes down because you built like that. And the same thing for
Basically.
men, because
Hmm.
we naturally understand kind of like that element of violence, like I spoke about before. You
Right.
know, just dudes know you can only do so much before some shit happen to you.
Hmm.
And it be little shit that people don't really connect the dots on that I be thinking about, like boys growing up playing probably a few more sports than girls
Right.
naturally. And then,
Hmm.
boys growing up playing video games. So you play a video game, motherfucker. You play a video game, and depending on
Hmm.
what you do, like different things happen, you
Yeah,
know,
exactly. Yeah.
and just even back to reality, some of the things that when they go into the little boys' room and they tell us shit, they don't hold nothing back, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, exactly.
and they tell
Hmm.
us all the bad stuff. When they go into a little girl's room, they tell her all the good stuff.
Yeah, all the good stuff.
So
Yeah.
we grow up, and then now we
With
have
that.
this. Yeah, we have this disconnect because all
Hmm.
her life she's been told nothing but the positive shit. So
Yeah.
when shit
And
doesn't
we
go
had the
her,
aggressive, had to tough it out type shit. Yeah.
yeah, and then so when shit doesn't go
Hmm.
her way, she thinks we're the bad guy. But
Right.
they walked in our room as young men and young boys and told us all the bad shit so we could prepare
Yeah.
for it. So we not
Hmm.
thinking about no fluffy shit,
That makes
you know.
sense. That makes sense.
But of course, we get grown and we have our own agendas and our own
Exactly. Yeah.
preferences,
That's
and
just.
then
Yeah. We got to start switching shit around.
and all
Hmm.
dudes ain't fucking Barack Obama. You know what I'm saying? And Martin Luther King and shit.
No, that's
They ain't,
facts.
they ain't got
That's
they ain't
facts.
got them type of mic skills to comfort women within the
Yeah,
message. You know what
that's
I'm
what it
saying?
is. Yeah, yeah. The
So
delivery of the messages come across a lot
yeah,
different for sure.
yeah, for sure. Because a lot of times for women, how you package it matters 100%. Because
Hmm.
and also too, who says it matters
Yeah, there you
100%.
go.
Because a lot of
Hmm.
times two people can be saying the same thing, but if Oprah say it versus if Bernie Mac say it, it's gonna be completely different.
Yeah,
Like they
exactly,
like
bro. Exactly.
they not hearing certain shit from certain people, whereas
Hmm.
men we're more so groomed to be like, hey, like what that nigga say? Like
Yeah, exactly. You got
vert
to run that back. Run
yeah,
that back,
like
Turbo.
versus like who said it and how it was said and if he said it pretty and all. Like we grew
Hmm.
up with them ghetto ass, black
Yeah,
black men and uncles and shit. Hey, boy, let me tell you something real quick.
yeah.
You
Let me
keep
holler at you real quick.
you
Yeah,
keep on doing that shit, the stars ain't gonna align for you, son. Be like,
yeah,
what the fuck? What does that shit mean? You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But you gotta
Hmm.
start, you put that two and two together and people don't take it
Yeah.
easy on you.
Put
So
it in
yeah, bro.
perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, man, you got to
Hmm.
put that shit in perspective because the dynamics is different. So,
Nah.
but nah, it's cool though. I ain't never mad at women for doing the shit they gonna do anyway. I just gotta let them
Oh
know what's
yeah.
gonna happen. Like, all right,
Exactly.
do whatever you want to
Exactly.
do. Just be cool with what happens next. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying. And that's that's
Exactly.
that's not a threat. That's just me
This
being
it,
honest.
but then that's just like in life too, though, bro. It's just like every action got a reaction. You know what I'm saying?
Right, cause and
So it's like,
effect.
hey, yeah, do whatever you want to do,
Right.
but just be cool with what might happen afterwards, bro. Just
just
be
just
cool.
understand what goes down, man. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like it's cool. Ain't nobody blaming you. I ain't mad. No hard feelings. But you need to go watch New
Exactly.
Jack City. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Nah,
Right.
exactly, bro. Shit.
Always business, never
Hmm.
personal.
Nah, that's facts, bro. That's
Like I
facts.
like I fuck with you, but you bad for business. You know?
Bro, that kind of go. That just made me remind me of this story that my one of my partners told me yesterday, bro. It was like this dude had beef with him
Right.
because his gal was flirting with my partner, bro. So he didn't like that.
Right. Right.
So then, like my partner, he always gonna be on alert because you never know what this nigga gonna be on or what he gonna try to be. what he gonna try
Yeah.
to flex. So one day the dude came up to him and spoke to him like, hey, bro, I just want to let you know it wasn't no problems, blah blah. And he was like, hey, I'm just letting you know I'm always like this just in case you won't smoke. So
Right, right,
I just
right.
need to be ready for whatever might come. So it's the same thing. It's like, hey, you
Exactly.
want to simplex that way? Hey, just to know that if it gets taken there, or if you say some shit out of line,
Right.
it's to you. It's
Yeah.
to you. So no,
Yeah,
it makes
man.
sense in different in all kind of scenarios, bro.
Yeah, bro. And that's why I be posting this shit I be posting on my Instagram about like women empowerment and tell women
Mm-hmm.
the truth and all of that shit because I feel like growing up, society naturally doesn't groom women for the other side of the coin. So then when it's
Mm-hmm.
presented to them as adults, it's too late and they devastated and they
Yeah.
heartbroken and they chose the wrong dude and they got, shitty baby daddy and they got a great career in no relationship or shitty relationship with no progression in their career. It's just all fucked up
Yeah, it's just
because
bad. Yeah.
we
Mm-hmm.
don't we don't it's not about being negative. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's really
Right.
about just setting them up correctly and shedding light on the dark spots for them so they can see it
Exactly.
better
So they can see it.
and
Mm-hmm.
they know what to do with it when life throws that type of shit at them because it's coming. But as young men,
Regardless.
yeah, it's coming regardless. But as young men and young
Mm-hmm.
boys, they deliberately pull us to the side and tell us that kind of shit, which they don't always tell young girls the whole story.
Right.
Or young
Mm-hmm.
girls may see struggle, they may see hardship, but nobody breaks it down and explains it to them. They just saw their mama struggle, they saw their daddy
Mm-hmm.
struggle, they saw their grandma struggle.
But
But
it didn't come with no instruction. It didn't come with
yeah,
no details. It didn't come with no no
yeah.
walkthrough kind of situation. Yeah.
Right. It didn't
Mm-hmm.
it didn't come with no lecture. It didn't come with no sit down and let me show you what's going down. It just came with the emotional connectivity of, oh, I see my parents struggling, or I see my mama working hard, or I see my daddy not here, or I see my grandma
Mm-hmm.
taking care of everything. So when I grow up, this is what I'm gonna mimic and mirror.
Basically,
And ain't nobody really telling them what was really going down and why shit was going down like that.
that way.
So
Mm-hmm.
then you got all these women running on templates, and you looking at her like, how you act don't really apply to your life,
Yeah.
right?
To
You know what
your
I'm saying?
lifestyle. Yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
the character you playing don't really match your personality. It don't really match your lifestyle. You yelling out shit from the mountaintops that ain't got shit to do with you because you saw your mama go through that shit, but you not in that same position at all. So
Fashion over dress, Gucci purse, uh, goddamn Dior shoes. Go home to the
yeah.
mattress on the floor, no furniture in your living room.
Yeah, dog. But enough of that shit for right now, dog.
Yeah,
Let's get into this topic though. So
I'm ready.
I think the topic right now is black men versus racism.
Mm-hmm.
And this is set to be a pretty deep topic. I don't even want to know if I want to call it controversial because we all know racism exists. I think
Right,
it exists at different levels for different people. I think
right.
we all have, of course, a different experience with racism and what we've actually been through, especially as it
Mm-hmm.
relates to differences in generation. Like our parents and grandparents' generation definitely have probably a different take on racism because they were more so alive and in the midst of like actual segregation, like colored
For
only,
sure.
and
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, all of that,
Mm-hmm.
Jim Crow action and all of that.
For
So
sure.
but yeah, man, we're gonna dig into how it feels, what you go through, what we go through rather, and your thoughts on being a black man in society. So Western society, of course, we in Texas, we in United States. Everything that happened this year with George Floyd from Houston, Texas,
Sure.
by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, everything that's going down or has gone down in the past with other events in the media as far as black people being killed, beaten, lynched, murdered. um how do you think, let me just start off and ask you, do you think those things have affected you, and if they have, how so and to what degree?
And bro, honestly, the way that I personally look at life, I feel like it's a lot different than other people. Like you never want to forget, what our people, when I say our people, I mean Black people have been through in the past. You
Mm-hmm.
never want to forget the things that we are currently going through as well. But me, on the on the journey that I'm on the spiritual level that I'm on, I feel that I try not to invite those type of situations or those type of scenarios or just that energy to even come into my life. Like when all the stuff is going, when all the stuff is going on, let's just for example, like with George Floyd. Like, of course, that's a nobody wants that, bro. It sucks to watch stuff like that. I don't even like watching things like that, but it's still good to know that, hey, you need to be aware these things can happen to you. Just make sure that you know where you are, what you're doing, just that cause and effect type thing that we spoke on.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I've seen two sides to the race thing. Like, I don't present myself in a way to where a white person may be, they may feel threatened by me or they may be aggressive towards me. I don't try to hang around people that may invite that type of culture or invite that type of environment. So I don't really run into it too much. Of course I have, and I have friends that have run into it, but me personally, I just try not to put myself in those situations, Jonathan. I feel like we can avoid that. If we don't think about it, we don't put ourselves out there into that, that bubble for racism, we really don't have to deal with it. I know that it's real. I know that we don't want to go through it, but it's like it's gonna happen, bro. We're gonna have to live through it. So we need to find ways to cope or to basically like navigate through it. You know what I mean? I think we focus too much on the act of it happening. It's, oh, we want to march, we want to act a fool, we want to do this, we want to do this. But are those really the ways to combat this? Like, I don't think that we think about the way to. We need to stop saying end it because it's not going to end. We need to find ways to either cope with it or to decrease it, if anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's yeah. I feel
Yeah.
like that's what we need to do more than trying to like attack the situation.
Okay, for sure. I think as it relates to events in the media, I was definitely kind of moved by just I don't even want to really single out George Floyd. I'll just say that everything that has happened in the past decade, right? As a black person first, before I'm even a black man, because black men, black women mixed,
Right.
people classify themselves different ways, but just
Hmm.
as a black person, period, you have to take note of what's going on, and then you have to kind of understand why it's like that and like the historical perspective behind it.
Hmm.
And then for me, to your point, I've used that as not only a reference, but as motivation to be like,
Hmm.
okay, something needs to be different with the way I do things so
Right.
that I'm not in the wrong spot, or so that I'm not
Hmm.
poorly positioned, so that I'm not doing something with lack of awareness that okay,
Right.
I'm doing this and there's nothing wrong with what I'm doing, but I still need to understand the way, excuse me, the way the world is built,
Hmm. How I can be
um,
perceived.
like how I can be perceived based on how I'm positioned in that physical moment, but then also
Hmm.
too based on all of the back end things that really allowed me to be more so of what I like to consider kind of like the Trojan horse.
Hmm.
So I'll explain that to the point of I feel like a lot of times what I see in the black community is that certain things will go down, certain things will happen in the media. Somebody will die, get shot, something, mistrial, going to jail for no reason, or like something
Right.
that
Right.
we consider small, but it's still big as it speaks to racial profiling and the way the system is set up. Like when Vic went to jail for them
Oh
dogs.
yeah.
You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like Vic went to jail for 2 years over them dogs, but you got people out here shooting people upside the head
Yes,
who
bro.
who who at the crib eating a bowl of Rice Krispies right now. You
Yep.
know,
Yep.
so or and never went to jail. Was barely
Right.
ever put in no cuffs, never put on no orange
Hmm.
jumpsuit. But when I think about that, I think about okay, as a black person, as a black man, what are things that I need to do in my everyday life to make sure that I'm positioned to not only have that affect me directly, but then start to kind of change the paradigm for the people around
Mm-hmm.
me and the next generation. So when I think about myself as a professional, right?
Right.
My goal every day is to not dwell on the fact that I'm going to be one of the only black people in the building.
Bro.
And
Yes.
I think that a lot of people in the black community, they like to dwell and shine the light and make themselves stand out to be, well, I'm one of the only black people in my office, or black, black, black. And it's just like, okay, like we see you, dog.
Yeah,
Like
it's we see that.
clearly
Yeah, you're there.
clearly you're
Mm-hmm.
black. And as I spoke about when we talked about business a while back, my business, I wanted my business to be a business and not
Right.
highlight it as a black business, because I think that when we do that, we subconsciously trigger ourselves and other people to view us in a separated, smaller, minor category,
Right.
as it relates to minorities, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I want to do is I don't want I don't want to be mistreated for being black, but I also don't want any special privileges for being black either. I want to be
Right.
the best in the building, period, without
Regardless.
it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have anything to do with me being black, but in order to do that, you have to dig deeper into how you position yourself to, first of all, qualify for certain areas in life, and then
Mm.
capitalize on that experience so that now you're creating experience for others, especially in the professional world, to where if you're not a part of the operation, then shit falls apart, you
Right.
know?
Exactly.
And the more we do that on a business side, on a professional side, on a going to work side, on how we prepare ourselves with our education and our resume and how we interview and how we speak, I think that we'll begin to have more people in power who can affect the change that we shout from the mountaintops
Mm-hmm.
about, that we just want people to give us. And they're
Right.
not going to give it to us. We got to give it to us. We got to make that
Right.
change, but we got to make that change from inside. So back to the Trojan horse metaphor, it's like I'm not being fake or fraud at all when I show up. Like when I show up to my work building, I show up with both of these nose rings in. I show up with a
Mm-hmm.
face full of hair, a head full of hair, a body full of tattoos, but they
Right.
respect me because I respect them. And then in certain instances where, of course, over the years, I've run into passive racism and I've run into
Right.
slick remarks. And especially as black men, will definitely get, a big end of that, a big percentage of that, because people are not afraid of us filing any type of sexual harassment or abuse,
Right.
cases or nothing like that. Because if you say the wrong shit to a
Yeah.
black woman or you make a slick mark about her, that shit can turn upside down for you real quick.
Real
But
quick. Yeah.
as black men, we know if we get out of line, we're gonna get shot in the head immediately,
Yeah.
or we're gonna get
Mm-hmm.
pinned up against the wall. So there's a certain amount of professionalism that I still have to carry myself with, even though I look this
Right.
way. So
Mm-hmm.
what I want to showcase and bring to the people around me and the next generation is that you have to think about, if you line all of us up, right? Black man,
Mm-hmm.
black woman, white woman, Indian, Mexican, Chinese, Asian, whatever. Just go down the line of every hue or shade of person from both genders and then ask yourself, out of which one, who has to be the most aware and the most cognitively developed, and who has to more so alter themselves the most out of all of them people in that lineup? You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
And not and I hate relating this to dogs, right? But it's like black men are the pit bulls of America, to where we've been labeled these mean, aggressive, you know, problematic creatures and beings, when really we're just products of our environment. Because anybody who's been around an actual pit bull knows that the
Mm-hmm.
motherfucker is nice as fuck unless you train them to
Yeah.
fuck
Unless you.
somebody up.
Yeah.
But they
Mm-hmm.
can't change how they look. They
Right.
can't change that they're a more muscular or quote unquote intimidating dog. And for me, when I think of intimidating, I feel like nothing's actually intimidating. You're just intimidated,
Right, bro. Yeah, you're
you
just
know?
intimidated.
Because I'm
Yeah.
fucking terrified of snakes, nigga. But then that ain't the
Mhm.
snake fault though. That's my fault.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? Like
exactly. Yeah.
that's my
Mhm.
problem. And
Right.
the more we can get inside and the more we can affect change consistently through our performance, I think that we'll have more of that platform to really make a big change and really do some of the
Mm.
things that as a black community we plead and beg for. But that's not how
Haven't put
we're
that
gonna
foot forward
achieve
yet.
that. You know, that's
No.
not how we're gonna move forward.
Hmm. Bro, I want to go back to that point that you made because it stood out to me the most. I'm not gonna say the most, but it really stood out to me when you said you have to qualify, bro.
Hmm.
Not just in the workplace, not just being able to qualify for the position that you're in. You have to be able to qualify in the scenario or in the environment that you are currently in. Now, when I thought of that, I thought like, okay, let's just say we go to the corner store, right?
Hmm.
You walk in and your pants hanging down, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like you got a big t-shirt on, you talking,
Yep.
reckless, your
Hmm.
speech slurred or whatever, you
Right.
talking how you'll just talk, around your partners, and that's totally fine. But let's say I walk in there, and my pants are at my waist. I still may have just like a t-shirt and some jeans on, but I have a belt on and my pants are up. And I'm talking, you know, professionally, semi-professionally with you or with the clerk or whatever. I feel like that's qualifying in that environment. Like, if let's just say somebody did come around, they're gonna be more prone to disregard you or to be more aggressive towards you or to really just have some type of racial thought about you just because of your appearance and then how you're carrying yourself, your demeanor.
Right.
That if they hear me talking well or they hear me, or they see my appearance, they may think like, okay, I don't really have to deal with him. He seemed like he got himself together. So I feel like you do have to qualify depending on the situations and the audience that you're in front of. So I think
Hmm.
that was a good point that could have been taken multiple different ways, but we do have to think. I think about that all the time, actually, bro. Like if I know I'm gonna go somewhere, I
Hmm.
make sure that I qualify for where I'm about to be. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't want any form of, you know, I guess disconnect or any form of like, misconception whenever somebody sees me. And bro, it's really crazy. So I live like in, I guess, the rich or fancy part of Austin, right? So whenever I go to HEB, or when I did go to HEB or whatever, just to like see how people like will change, bro. Let's just say like even if I just had on something random, like I have a septum piercing, right? So I feel that whenever I wear the septum out and I have gauges as well, I usually get more friendly remarks, more friendly comments. People comment on my
Hmm.
hair.
Yeah.
They're just more open to me because I guess I don't look like the typical
Right.
black
Right.
person. So
For
they
sure.
feel more comfortable for me. So somehow I qualify in those
Hmm.
scenarios. Now, if I had this hat on and I probably had this hood on and I was walking through there, then they might be a little more like, oh, like,
Right.
okay, hold on,
Yeah. Like what's
let's
going
see what's
on?
going on.
Right.
Yeah, and it's like they don't even know me yet. But let's just say I was walking on the phone looking like this, and they heard me have a conversation, and I was speaking well. Then I feel like they may, you know, step back and be like, okay, this person's not as bad. So I think that we have to be aware of who we are and how we present ourselves in the world today, bro. I think that plays a big part on how we get treated. The way that you qualify or you present yourself definitely plays a part on how people will treat you. Now, we do see in the media, we do see sometimes where people could be coming from work and then they get harassed or the police say something to them. But I feel like when those situations happen, it's not fully because you're black, they're white, they're right, just that you're black and they're white.
Hmm.
Some people, bro, they just are rude people. They just don't give a damn. If they
Right.
have power, they will abuse that power. It
Right.
don't even have to be the fact that they're racist. They just don't fuck with people, bro. They just really just want to be assholes to somebody younger than them, somebody they feel that they may be able to manipulate. You know what I
Right.
mean? Or like,
Right.
let's just say if you look like you may have been in trouble before, the police gonna question you about it. They're gonna try to do something to stir you up to get you back to that place to where you were if you were that type of person. You know what I mean? So that's
Hmm.
why I just think that you have to be smarter and you just have to maneuver the right way in this world, bro.
Right.
Because
For
that's
sure.
I don't like to, we know that there's racism, but I don't like to dwell on the fact that this person is racist, this person is racist. No, this is just a whole ass person, and maybe I did something that, or maybe I was giving off some type of vibe that I probably shouldn't have. I know it sucks that we have to tiptoe through life different than other people? In some situations, yes, we do, but bro, it's like, what can we do about it if we're not going to make a change, if we're not going to find different ways to, to change that? So I mean, I have suggestions, but we can get to that a little bit later. But yeah, I definitely want to speak on the qualified part, bro, because that
Yeah,
was
for sure.
deep. That was
No,
deep.
that's good, bro. That's good. I know everybody appreciate that shit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, I think to piggyback on what you just said, I think too we have to understand the nature of the beast a little bit better too. Which is why I made the statement earlier about understanding the historical, relation and connectivity to why things happen the way that they happen. Because even if something's not on the front of somebody's brain, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to know that for the past however long humans have been on this earth, there's been a timeline of events. And those
Right.
timeline of events have caused and affected certain things. Like it all boils back down to principles. So
Right.
you have to know that, let's just say you have a white person, and you have a white
Mm-hmm.
person that has only ever been around white people, and you have a white
Mm-hmm.
person that has only ever been around white people in what we consider the better parts of a city or a town or a state. So
Mm-hmm.
when they come or when they cross paths with someone who didn't grow up the way they grew up, they don't talk the way that they talk, they don't look the way that they look, and they're it's foreign to them, just just
Mm-hmm.
just to boil it all down, it's foreign to them and it's uncomfortable. So, and a lot of times too, if you don't grow up and you're not experienced or you don't have reps in a certain thing, you're not going to be good at it. And I think a lot of times
Mm-hmm.
we expect other races that are non-black to be good and to be accepting and to be aware of black urban like norms, right?
Right.
And then when
Mm-hmm.
they're not, we're quick to be like, "Oh, they racist," motherfuckers trying to hold us down. And it's like, no, that motherfucker don't know what you talking about,
Nah, they just don't know. Yeah.
like they're ignorant to it. And anyone's first action or first reaction or first defense, if you will, when they don't know what's going on, is to make sure they protect themselves, you
Yep.
know,
It's themselves first, bro.
themselves first. Because outside of them being whatever race they are, they got a family, they got kids, they got a
Hey.
job, they got shit that they love and care about too. So,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not saying that these people or some of those select people are not specifically racist, but
Right.
we have to understand that racists and non-racists who are not from where you from, who don't look how you look, who didn't grow up around you or around other people like you are
Mm-hmm.
different to them. And anything
Right.
that's different is going to be somewhat uncomfortable. And every time we're uncomfortable, we look for protection. When you
Yep.
if you walk outside right now and it's cold and you ain't got no jacket, what you gonna do? Run back in the fucking house and get a
Go
jacket.
inside and get that jacket. Yeah.
If you hear somebody rattling at your fucking door, you don't know if they black, white, blue, or green. You're gonna grab your gun and go to work.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So I
Exactly.
think I think that that same element exists for everybody, racist or non-racist. So I think before we label anybody racist, we have to understand where they may be coming from and not coming from, and be like, okay, this person may have never seen nobody like me before, so let me just understand that they may be uncomfortable with me, or vice versa. You can be
Right.
uncomfortable with them, and not, you don't have to necessarily beat yourself over the head about it, but just understand like why that's going down.
Dang. Okay. That's really a good point, bro. Because and then when you were saying that, I even just had a scenario in my head because you talked about protection. So let's just say, you know, something happened with you and your partner, y'all out, and then police come up and they attack your partner even more than they are to you or whatever. They put him on the ground, they handcuffing him, da 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 da. Your partner is expecting you to be like, bro, what the fuck y'all doing? Y'all not finna do this, and this. But
Mm-hmm.
you also have to protect yourselves, bro. And it's like, I think we get caught up in so many of those situations. Like, damn, am I being a whole ass friend? Am I supposed to just put myself in the same position that my partner is in currently by saying some fly shit or trying to fight off the police because nobody's gonna do that? Or do I remember like, hey, bro, I got a good ass job that I gotta be at tomorrow. I'm gonna try to do what I can to like get you out of this situation, but for us both to be acting a fool right now, it's not gonna go the way that it should. You know what I mean? And it's
Right.
like I think that we get too caught up in that as black people, bro, that we expect it's almost like crabs in the bucket, bro. It's like we
Mm-hmm.
expect somebody else to come down with us just because it's some whole ass shit going on. It's like, no,
Mm-hmm.
I gotta do what's best for me. I'm not gonna leave you hanging, but we gotta make the best out of this already fucked up situation type thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that's something that we tend to overlook or not think about. I know it's hard to in the moment in the situations, but if we prepare and we think about these things before, we won't even run into those issues, bro.
Yeah.
More than likely.
Yeah, man,
Bro,
for sure. Go ahead.
I got like a I don't know if it's like a thought or like a question to ask, but because somebody brought this to me before, we're talking about racism, same thing,
Mm-hmm.
and they were saying like, you know how people always like, we've been going through this for 400 years. Our ancestors were slaves. They got beat. They were doing this, and this.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. And they were like, right, but that's not your reality. Like you're not
Mm-hmm.
going through that right now. So why continue to hold that hostility
Mm-hmm.
and still hold that anger in the current situation on the current times when that's not really what's going on? Yes, you can compare what happened to George Floyd as a lynching, or yes, you can compare some of these incidents that we run into as black people as racism or whatever. But do y- do you think that we still need to hold on to this, like, oh, I was a slave, or we was a slave mentality, and bring that to our current now, bro? Because it's like, why use that aggression from the past to to our current situations? Because we don't have to live like that no more, bro. We're not shackled down. We don't have masters. Like, we're free people to do as we please. We just need to do the things that we want to do the correct way, bro. So I kind of feel the same way, bro. I kind of agree. Like, yes, fucked up and it's messed up what we went through, but that's not me. Like, they went through that to get us to where we are, and I'm appreciative, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to hold on to that negativity in my current self. You know what I mean?
Right. A lot of
I know that
people.
that's gonna be controversial. I know a lot of people gonna be like, "What the fuck?" But it's like I feel like we put burdens on ourselves, bro.
So man, as it speaks to that, a lot of people in all situations, even outside of racism, have trouble with converting their energy. So
Hmm.
what I mean by that shit is, if you're mad about something that happened in the past, instead of converting that energy and using that as fuel to be better and to learn and to move forward and to remember what happened in the past as a checkpoint to be like, I ain't going back there. So what
Yeah.
what do I need to do to move forward? Not dwell on
Hmm.
it or whatever. It's just like
Right.
if you got if you fall on the ground and you fucking bust your shit open, and then instead of just letting it heal and then knowing not to fall on the ground again, you keep picking at the fucking scab and then being like,
Hmm.
look, I fell. Just
Yeah.
like, nigga, stop picking at that shit. Let that shit heal. We know you
Let it heal.
feel. We know
Hmm.
that shit hurt. We
Yes.
know you don't like the way it
Hmm.
look. We know that's a part of your history. We know that was your first time riding a bike. Whatever. Let that shit
Right.
heal so it scabs over and fucking swells down and recovers, and then
You got new skin.
ride your bike better, nigga.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
and that's
Hmm.
and that's it. But don't sit here and just keep talking about how you fell off the bike and somebody didn't teach you how to ride the bike right and all of this shit, or bringing up something from the past like slavery. Like, okay, yes, our ancestors went through that. Yes, that shit was unfortunate. Yes, it happened in history. Cannot take it back. And because of that, we are fighting certain economical factors and certain
Yep.
societal groomings that have set us back on paper. But now we live in a world of resources. We live in a world where we can make a change. We live in a
Come on, bro.
world where we have, Lord, you can do whatever you want to do, or at least learn it from your phone.
Hmm.
You know what I'm
Have the
saying?
means. Yes, we have the means,
and
bro.
and that part of it is fairly recent. So
Hmm.
why are we not exploring once again more ways to position ourselves and be better versus just rehashing something that first we were not a part of? All right,
Hmm.
now you can feel how you feel. you can walk around with your chest out and proud at the fact that your people were a part of those previous generations that went through that, because both of ours were as well. You know,
Mm-hmm.
every black person to date in America is related to someone that is, at some given point, was a slave or a servant, or you
Right.
know, a house nigga, whatever. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
okay, let me honor that person who went through that struggle by doing the best that I fucking can to make sure that my family and my lineage never reverse and go back to that type of shit again.
Hey,
Let
bro.
me break some of these generational curses. Let me
Mm-hmm.
position myself. Let me use my education. Let me use my platform. Let me do the
Mm-hmm.
best that I can do on a daily basis to make sure that all of that don't go to waste, because
Yeah, to waste. Yep.
they somewhere in the stars right now looking down going, look at this motherfucker shouting from the
Yeah.
mountaintops, not doing shit.
Not doing a goddamn
I
thing.
got
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
ass beat, picking cotton, bleeding, hot.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And we did all that for a way out, or just hope for a way out, for a tunnel that seemed to never end. Some of our relatives and
Yep.
ancestors died in those fields and
Mm-hmm.
in those yards and in those gardens and in those tunnels and in and on those railroads. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
let me not disrespect them by being fucking lip service
Yeah,
and
exactly.
sitting
Yep.
around talking pretty instead of just doing some shit. Let me just
Exactly.
let me just do something and understand that things are the way they are due to hundreds of years of grooming, but
Mm-hmm.
it's our job to correct that. It's our job to move forward.
And it's not just posting a black, a black post, just saying, oh, okay, well, we finna just black out this day bro. It's so much deeper than that, because most of the time when people do this, they only do it for show so that everybody else thinks that they're participating in this so-called movement, bro. And I feel like if you're not going to be genuine about it, or if you really just, if you don't have a solution, it's like, it's okay to be silent, bro. That doesn't mean that you don't care about what's going on. That doesn't mean that you don't want change. It's just like, don't just do some shit just to be doing it, because I don't like when stuff is ingenuine. You know what I mean? Like, if you really passionate about it, show that shit. I don't need to see you posting a million things, but like, if you out there in the streets and you trying, not protesting and marching, but if you out there trying to give people better opportunities, or you trying to give people ways to change their lives, I can appreciate that, bro. I can respect those type of things. But like, the little stuff that we really get caught up into, the media that we get caught up into, that really don't move me. You know what I mean? I'm not phased by it at all.
Okay. Yeah, that's a bit. Um as it relates to the topic of being, or black man versus racism.
Mm-hmm.
Um outside of what you spoke on, as far as like, you realize based on how you package yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
You are treated differently. And I
Right.
honestly feel the same way. Because me being in the fitness industry,
Mm-hmm.
um, me having tattoos and the beard and nose rings and shit like that shit is labeled as like cool. That actually makes me more credible, because I look
Right.
like a former athlete, and I look like, I know what I'm talking about, and like, I work out. So yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely want to
Mm-hmm.
talk to him, because he looked like he work out all fucking
Right.
day, you
Exactly.
know.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of that too is also a part of conditioning as well, or positioning as well.
Mm-hmm.
So how would you say that, as a black man, are there anything, or is there anything, and are there things that you find yourself doing as a black man or as a black person, that you're doing it because of that reason?
So you mean, dang?
So
So you're
so
saying like,
go ahead.
no, I'm saying, so you're saying like, do I use my, like, in what situations do I use my blackness?
I mean, you can use it as a pro or a con, or just something that's kind of like, because I'm black, this is what I got to do, type shit. So okay,
Mm,
so for example, bro, I'll go first and I'll turn it right back over to
yeah.
you.
All
When I'm
right.
when I'm walking down the hall, or when I'm walking on a sidewalk or something, if
Okay.
there's a woman walking that's going to walk beside me, and my
Mm-hmm.
free hand is empty closest to her, I
Mm-hmm.
make sure I put something in that hand.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
So there's gonna be no environment of my hands are free to do some shit to her because I
Mm-hmm.
have my bag in that hand. I have my phone in that hand. And you walked by me and that side of my body was occupied. So we ain't even gotta fucking go there. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. Okay.
So as a black man, those are kind of like some
Mm-hmm.
behind the scenes type things that go on in my brain because I am black and I know that my frame of reference is to be proactive, so I just don't have to deal with certain shit. So
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
is there anything that you do, to make sure that you either use
Mm-hmm.
your blackness to your advantage,
Yeah.
or
Right.
is it
Okay.
something that's like, damn, because I'm a nigga, let me let
I
me
guess
do
because yeah, so I
this?
guess I guess to like it's almost like what I said earlier when I go to HEB, I'm just like I put on a whole new you know what I mean like persona to show that I can fit in, I can fit in with the people at the store or whatever. But like I go outside a lot and I fish a lot, and I think a lot of things the main thing that I use is just my personality, bro. And I smile and I always speak to people no matter if they speak to me or not. So like
Hmm.
if I go fishing, bro, and I see people like coming to the boat ramp, or I see people just like standing in the general area, I don't think that people going right off the bat think, okay, it's a black man fishing here. He might be aggressive. Let
Hmm.
me, stand guard or let me act a fool. So like if I see somebody come around, I can feel somebody's presence. I'll turn around, I'll speak. I'll just, how are you doing? And then that'll spark conversation because they like, oh, okay, he not aggressive because he the one that spoke to me first. And just
Hmm.
I think it's just the area that I live in. It's either old white people, white people, bro, or
Hmm.
it's just there's not many black people in my area. So I feel that I just have to break that break that curse of like, okay, do I speak, do I not speak? I just go ahead and just do it right off the bat just so that I can break the ice and they just show that there's no there's no hard feelings there. I think the only thing that people, and they'll try to do it like on the slick, they'll come down, they'll be like, oh, do you live close by here? Like, just to be like, how the fuck did you get in this area?
Yep.
Because only people that live here can be in this area. So like,
Facts.
what are you doing? I'm like, oh no, I live, you know, probably like 5 minutes from here. I live in the neighborhood, blah blah blah. I had one time, bro, like it was another guy who fished all at the same spot all the time. So he
Hmm.
even spoke for me one time because he probably could have felt that that she was asking for that reason, you know what I mean? Just to be
Right,
like, well, I
right.
need to get this nigga out of here.
Yeah.
So he was just like, oh no, yeah, he's like, yeah, he just lives right down the road. We fish here together all the time. He's just an awesome guy, man. It's just like, I feel like when you present yourself the right way, he was on board with me, bro. Like, bro, cool with me. We fish and we don't have no beef, bro. It's really funny. I remember I told my now the same story. So like me and him was fishing all the time, bro. He always speaking. He's like, yeah, I'm always for the youth or for people that are in bad areas. My job is to make sure that I create an environment to upbring kids and mostly minorities, this and this. It's like they be telling you this stuff to be like, hey, bro, I'm on your side, kind of thing, bro.
Hmm.
Jonathan, I swear to you, he came fishing one day, bro, and it was funny because the shirt, when you just put a shirt on, it still got
Yeah.
the creases and everything in
Yep.
it.
For sure.
Bro, he had a shirt from the what was it? It was like a National American Museum shirt that he just bought, and he just knew because we was planning to go fishing together. Bro, it's like he just took that mug out the paper, put that mug on, and was just like Superman,
Yeah.
like, hey, you
Right.
see me, like. And the crazy part is, I never commented on his shirt one time, and I feel like he felt the way because he wanted me to acknowledge that. But it's like,
Hmm.
bro, we already been chilling and hanging out. Like, you don't got, you don't have to do the
Yeah.
most. Like, we respect each other. I don't want it to be about race. Like, I think that's the whole problem is because we just need to be able to be cool with one another. We
Uh-huh.
need to be able to have conversation and dialect with anybody, different age groups, bro, different, millennials with old people, young people, kids, bro. We just need to be able to just really talk to each other without having any kind of mindset, any kind of confrontation, any kind of thoughts to where we think that this person may be a certain type of way. I feel like if we were to get on board with more people that were not like us, whether you're black, white, pink, purple, bro, if you were to reach out or if you were to just really let your personality shine with somebody of a different race, like I don't think we would have to run into this kind of stuff, bro. And I think the problem is like we tiptoe too much instead of confronting it. Not like I'm saying like, oh, we need to say like, oh, don't be racist, this and this, but be a friend to somebody, bro. Just be a good person to other people. And I think that is going to go a long way. And I think that's what we don't do as a society, which is why there's so much tension. We don't know how to be comfortable and be okay with other people that's not
Hmm.
like us. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think that's the issue.
And I think what happens is that I think what happens is that we want, and I think this goes for both parties, not just black to white, but also white to black and other races too, because it ain't just white and black people in the world. We got fucking a whole 100,000 shades of people. So
Hmm.
I think that what happens is that when you're not in the know and when you're quote unquote uncomfortable, you're looking for this extreme experience. You're looking for something to either
Hmm.
blow up and be completely fucked up, or you're
Hmm.
looking for this magical unicorn experience of like, oh my God, I magically like you and I'm in love with you out of nowhere. And it's like, nah, you kind of
Hmm.
have to work that a little bit. It's
Yeah,
just
you
like
gotta warm up.
building,
Hmm.
it's like building any relationship. I mean, even from black to black people, like you show up to the court the first time for the pickup game, niggas don't know you.
Ooh.
Like I ain't picking that nigga up. I don't fuck with him. So you're gonna have to go
Hmm.
hoop with the scrubs so they can
Yeah,
see your
to show your
skills
show your
and
worth. Yeah.
and and get to know you and then know that you
Hmm.
cool, talk a little trash on the court so they know you down and all that shit. And
Yeah.
then they be like, all right, that's what's
Hmm.
up.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
then the
Get that
same
respect.
the same thing happens with the white guy when he shows up to the court. Um,
Hmm.
but I think too, what helped me is that me being the only child growing up, I didn't have no siblings in the house. So I didn't
Hmm.
have no built-in friends. So
Yeah.
so all of my friends that I had to make, I had to put in that
Yeah.
work.
You had to do the work. Yep.
So
Same for me,
it
bro.
would, I mean, and you remember when I moved to Pearland, Ed Powers was my first friend. You remember Ed Portsmouth?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah. He
saying?
lives straight across the street
Yeah,
from me. Yeah.
exactly. So Ed was my first homeboy.
Hmm.
White as flour, motherfucker.
Yeah. Exactly.
White as pure cane
Exactly.
sugar.
Yeah.
And me and
Hmm.
Ed was kicking it, for a
Yeah.
long
Tough. Yeah.
time.
Hmm.
And we still cool today, but end up
Yeah.
playing different sports and shit. And you know how I go, went to a huge ass high
Yeah.
school, so it just don't work out.
Exactly. It don't work
But
out the same.
yeah, it
Hmm.
wasn't no fucking beef. It is still my guy.
Exactly, bro.
But
Exactly.
it was never an issue of him being white or me being black. And it
Hmm.
was never disrespect or no slick shit, just not between me and Ed, but me and his parents either. And then my parents to his
Right.
parents and back and forth. Um,
Hmm.
what also helped me too, which I don't even know if you know this, because I mean we lived on the same street, but I don't know how much you actually saw of my family. But
Hmm. Hmm.
my mom was married at the time to a Puerto Rican guy.
Hmm.
And my dad, on the Southwest, he was married to a white woman at the time. So, bro, like I'm living at home with a Hispanic father figure, and then I go to
Hmm.
see my real dad, and he has a white wife. So,
Right.
bro, I'm just in a whirlwind of culture
Yeah. Exactly. You just
24/7,
got culture. Yeah. You
you
just I
know?
got culture.
Right. And then I'm around my actual blood relatives and they all black. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Hmm.
just like, yeah, like we good. And before I moved to
Hmm.
Pearland, I was coming from Sunnyside, coming from Third Ward. So it's like, yeah,
Exactly, bro.
like
Exactly.
whatever. Like I'm good wherever I go. And
That's
I know
yes.
that whoever I meet, they don't know me and I don't know them. So I treat everything the same way. So that's
Right.
that's kind of
But you still
that
you
has helped me.
conditioned yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, you conditioned yourself too, though, to be okay and to be able to be versatile in those situations. Not that you're putting on a costume, bro, but it's just like that's who you are. You know how to approach somebody and to make that connection with them.
Right.
That's what the key is. We have to be able to connect with these people who are different than us. Yeah, of course, you guys might not see eye to eye, but that's because you don't know this person's lifestyle and they don't know your lifestyle. That's the only don't know in the equation. It's not because they don't fuck with you because they hate you because you're black. Y'all don't know each other, bro. So it's like there's gonna be some form of diversity, or I don't even want to say animosity, but yeah, there's gonna be some type of plex in the middle right there that's just unavoidable. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just there, bro. It's
For
there.
sure.
And it's crazy because like not even just go too deep into it, but like at work, bro, like of course I work in the place where I work is very free. Everybody is welcoming, no matter who you are, whatever walk of life you have. But I feel that just my personality, I have never run into an issue to where I could feel somebody dislike me because I was black, bro, or give me some type of kickback because I was black. I feel like that's just nothing that I've run into. But I feel like I'm the reason that that hasn't happened to me. Like they
Hmm.
choose me to be in every single video, bro. Any video that they finna put out,
Mm-hmm.
They send me an email like, "Hey, do you want to participate in this?" I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
some of it has to do
Of
because they want
course.
to add
Of
diversity
course.
in culture
Of
and show that they're
course.
welcoming to everybody. But I also think that they really fuck with me and they really appreciate the person that I am and what I have brought to the table
Right.
as far as work. So
Right.
I feel like we don't need to harbor so much on black, white, racism, this, because at the end of the day, it's just how do you present yourself to people? Do y'all really know each other? Can y'all get to level or to know each other? And if there is tension, how do you maneuver it? That's all it is,
Mm-hmm.
bro.
All right,
I
bro.
don't, I don't, yeah, I don't support I mean, not I don't support, but I don't really want to dwell in racism. It's just we need to come together as people, bro.
Nah, bro. I definitely agree. So my last point, because you got some people listening to this shit like y'all acting like racism don't
Yeah,
exist.
exactly. Yeah,
Y'all just want to love
it's
everybody and act like
I've been a part of it,
they
bro.
didn't
Yeah.
kill our people. So I'm definitely aware of that. And I spoke to that when
Hmm.
we first got on the call. But so now what I want to ask, not but what I want to ask is,
Have the police hold me before? Yes.
I mean, what? Yes, for
Yeah.
sure.
Hmm.
But not only white cops though. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, damn.
Black cops have fucked with me too. Hispanic,
Yeah.
all of them. You know.
Yeah. Hmm.
I've actually probably experienced more racism in the workplace when I first started, but that's because I believe that manager specifically just had his own issues going on.
Right.
But
It's. Hmm.
you know what I want to talk about right here, just to kind of finish up the call, bro, is outside of everything that you've talked about, are there
Hmm.
any ways, as it relates to racism being a real thing, right? Are
Hmm.
there any ways that you're aware of that you actually use racism to your advantage or prejudice to your advantage?
Dang. So you mean like, do I like to use my black card in certain
I mean,
situations?
it can be to use your black card. It can be because I'm black, like I know that I can do this or just whatever. Like,
Oh, see, okay, bro. I'm glad you brought that up because
okay,
like me,
for sure.
bro, it's crazy because like a lot of people know how I am too, bro. I don't like nigga shit, bro. And when I say like nigga shit, and it's not me being racist towards my own people. Like I just don't fuck with ignorance, bro. Like
I
we
got you.
gotta know better and we got to do better. So I'm glad you brought that up. So like when I say like nigga shit, bro, I mean like let's say we at the club, right? And we know we gotta stand in line. We know we have to stand in line
Right.
and we in the line or somebody in the line like, hey, bro, come on, man. You done let three bitches in, bro. I'm trying to get in this hoe, bro. I got bread. I got, nigga, do you have to do that? You know, there's a line. There's a line, right?
Right.
We know we have to wait. This probably not your first time coming to this club either.
Right.
It's gonna be the same amount of people in there when you get there. They're gonna have the same drinks. The music is still gonna be good by the time you get in there. I promise you're not missing out on anything, bro. Just chill. Like just relax, bro. Or let's just say, like, we walking down 6th Street and it's like, and the police acting a fool or whatever, doing what they doing, and somebody like, hey, fuck them laws, bro. Fuck the pigs, man. It's like, nigga, they were not
Man.
doing anything to you. Like, why are you acting a fool like that? Like, just chill. Or if niggas in a big group with their friends and they in that mug just doing, just how people just be loud, bro. They want to
Mm-hmm.
play fight. They want to just do things that are gonna attract possibly negative energy towards them.
Right.
Why do you even have to go that route, bro? It's like I feel like we put ourselves in these situations and we don't have to, bro. I just don't like nigga shit because I feel like we need to, since we already know that people are looking at us, not even negatively, people are already having their eyes on us. If we're gonna give them something to look at, bro, give them the correct show. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Show them, let's just say they think negative already, bro. Show them why they need to change their mind about you. Show them that you're actually, that you're actually different.
Mm-hmm.
That you're not the norm. So I
Right.
feel like we need to focus on those type of things. It's like I know it's cool to like thrive in our culture, bro. Like it's cool. Like if I just want to sit there somewhere and I just feel like I want to freestyle with my partners, and I'm like, that's okay. But I'm not finna get up on top of the stands and it's your boy Cat. I'm not finna do all of that, bro. I'm not. It's a time and place for everything. If we was at the crib, cool, that's fine. But
Yeah.
I'm not. It's just like you just gotta know your personnel, know your environment, bro. And as Black people, I know we just get so worked up to like we just want to be ourselves, and that's cool. But you got to know you just got to be aware, bro. So
Yeah, man. And I think we coming from the same place as it relates to your example. Like when I see that type of shit, I'd be like, so like you trying to start a fight because they
yeah,
got guns. You know what I'm saying? They got registered guns and
bro,
tasers, and they have a
they
license to
can do
use them
this.
hoes.
Yes, bro, they can do this.
So you really want to
Yes,
go
bro.
talk shit to somebody who can legally use his gun right now and be good?
Right.
Like, nah, man, that shit ain't smart.
It's
But
ignorant. Yeah, it's
to
ignorant.
that to that to that same realm of energy, if you will,
Hmm.
how I actually use racism, or what we would consider racism, or prejudice, to my advantage is that I know and understand that in most settings, people are going to expect me to be one dimensional, you know, like
Hmm.
they're going to expect me to be the former athlete who can't think, or just all about fitness but no business,
Yeah,
or
no business.
they're
Hmm.
not going to expect me to have anything more than a sentence or two to say or to speak on a topic. And they're
Right.
not going to expect me to have done any type of research and understand where I'm coming from and connect the dots. So throughout my journey, of developing myself, personal and professional, I know that in certain
Hmm.
settings, especially when it comes to a professional or an academic setting, bro, I would fucking present last all the time because I knew, and side note, nigga, and I'm gonna say this shit all
Yeah.
the time. I grew up a
Yeah.
fucking wrestling fan. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So like I
Yeah.
grew up listening to The Rock and Stone Cold and shit get on the fucking mic, and
Yeah.
niggas be running their mouth weak as fuck, and that music hit and they
Yeah.
just blow up the fucking spot. So
Yeah.
bro,
It just
like
started. Yeah.
that's like when I'm called, or when I'm summoned to say some shit,
Hmm.
that's the kind of
It's
energy I
going
want to
down.
have. You know what I'm
It's going
saying?
down.
That's the type of
Yeah.
energy I want to have. And I know that
Hmm.
going into my everyday situations, that at some
Right.
point I'm going to be called to speak on something. And
Gotta
because
shake that
people
room,
don't,
Jay.
yeah, and because people don't really expect much out of black people and a black man,
Right.
and they
Hmm.
know that I have an athletic background, and athletes get labeled as dumb jocks and all of that shit,
Hmm.
they're not, when I open my mouth, they're not going to
That's it.
expect or be prepared for what comes out. And they're definitely not going
Hmm.
to be ready for it to be better than the bullshit that they said that they just regurgitated
That's
from the book
that's it's that.
verbatim. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying?
Exactly.
Because I do my best to understand some shit to the core so I can always put it in my own words. So I'm never
Exactly.
telling you nothing that you can just Google your fucking self. Like you talking to me, you're gonna get my perspective, not what
Right.
Wikipedia said, not what Webster said, you know?
Hmm.
So I use that to my advantage on an everyday basis to once again do the due diligence on my part, the back end on my part, to make sure that
Hmm.
when I'm called to make a difference, I can make that key difference in the environment. And then now moving forward, the next time they see a young black man on the street that look like me,
Right.
they'll look at him different because of what I did.
Yeah. They're gonna have that question like, damn, this might be Jonathan. Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Hmm.
this
This might be a
motherfucker,
Jonathan.
he look like he got a 40-inch vert, but he might be
Yeah.
smart too.
Exactly. Hmm.
I see the tattoos, but he may have something to say. He may have a
Exactly.
good resume because I met a guy a few
Yeah.
years ago that spoke in a conference room full of white collared uppity motherfuckers, and the whole
Yeah.
room stood up and clapped. And
Yeah.
because I could do that for myself in that moment, that has now given hundreds of other young black men the opportunity
The
to,
opportunities, bro.
when people look at them, they don't see young, dumb nigga. They see
Mm-hmm.
potential. They see intelligence. They see someone willing to be groomed and better themselves because of something that I did, that I took the time to do for myself, because I used racism and prejudice to my advantage and not shout from the mountaintop saying like, oh, they just think I'm a dumb like fuck that shit. Like that's
Yeah.
good. I'm glad that they think I'm dumb because I got something
'Cause
for
here,
their ass.
yeah,
Because
because here it
since
come. Yeah.
because since my bar is so low, I have no choice but to blow this motherfucker out the water. You know
That's
what I'm
it.
saying?
Exactly. You just might as well
So
just go 100 in.
right. So I use that to my advantage. And then just to throw this shit out there too, like in my position, I use my look to my advantage because not a lot of people expect for me to be the old fat guy in charge, right?
Yeah.
They expect that to be somebody a little bit older or white or not in shape or just whatever. So when I walk around looking like I'm, at home from the NFL season and shit, and they think I'm just a fucking trainer, a punk ass
Yeah.
trainer, not realizing I'm the whole manager of the entire facility that's been doing paperwork all day. I just
Yeah. No,
happen
exactly.
I just happen to look like I just got done doing 100 burpees. You know what I'm saying? So the thing
Oh,
is,
you're
I
Mr.
don't.
Williams.
Right. So I don't walk around with a badge that says manager. I don't walk around suited and booted or nothing like that. I wear
Hmm.
crisp, clean, respectable work attire. I keep my shape, I keep my face trimmed and like ready to go. I
Hmm.
keep an edge up on me when I go to work. So it's like when they meet me, right? I get to meet the real person, you know, and
Hmm.
I use that to my advantage because if they meet a woman, they're going to put their best foot forward to not offend the woman or to watch what they say to the woman. If they meet a white man, they automatically assume he's in charge and I should talk to him a certain type of way. But when they meet
Right.
me, I'm just a black guy that works there. They don't know that I'm important. So I
Right.
get to meet the real person up front, and then somewhere down the line, when we have the big quarterly meeting for fucking strategy, they're
Hmm.
like, "Oh, what is he doing here? Oh yeah,
Oh, he's the
he
presenter.
yeah,
Yeah.
he runs the whole fitness center." Like, oh shit, I talked to that nigga stupid 2 months ago,
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's
Exactly.
it's it's too late now. I already know who you are, so we good.
Yep.
And
That's it.
I can use
That's it.
that to my advantage to know exactly the type of person you are, because you're not going to step
100.
outside of your box to get to know me up front. But once again, as a black man, black person, I always have to be aware of who I'm dealing with. So I don't
Right.
cry about prejudice. I don't cry about racism. I convert that shit and I use it to my advantage because
That's it, bro.
I know you don't think shit of me. And that's fine. That,
That's
you
it.
know what? That's beautiful. Keep doing that shit because I'm gonna keep winning off of your ignorance and we good. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And
That's
even
it.
when you hold
That's
me
it.
to that standard, I'm still gonna blow your ass out the water
Yeah,
because
that's it. Yeah.
I
I'm
got
not.
because I
Just
got
wait.
more
There's more.
practice than you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I have
That. Yes.
I have
Yes.
more reps than you do on how to present and package myself because your whole
Because of
life
that.
you haven't had to walk in and assess the environment or take a fucking room temperature of how people are feeling and what their facial expressions look like, and none of that shit, or the
Hmm.
energy of the environment. So
Yeah.
even when you do start to look at me and hold me to that standard, I have more practice than you do. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like my muscle
Hmm.
memory is a lot better than yours. So I'm gonna be ahead
Right.
of you like tenfold. We straight.
That's it, bro. That's 100% it.